subscribe to Awaken Mind.
Alright, so I usually don't talk about this type of stuff on this channel, but today, I'm tired of being humble and low-key. So let's talk about it. I don't at all condone the looting or the riots. However, the riots I do understand. Now, for those of you that don't know, there was a man recently by the name of George Floyd that was wrongfully murdered in front of quite a bit of people on the floor. I'm gonna link the video in the description so you can watch it if you haven't already, because I'm not gonna put it here. But let's talk about that for a second, right? Now, firstly, let's address the riots. People are saying that people are wrongfully rioting and going crazy. And although I'm not condoning the riots, especially not the looting, because there are a bunch of opportunities that are taking advantage of these riots and trying to loot stores and whatnot. But let's talk about the riots specifically. I'm not condoning it, and I'm not saying what they're doing is necessarily right. But you know what's not right? This injustice that's going on right now. So you can't keep people under oppression and expect them to stay under oppression forever. Eventually, people's gonna want to take matters into their own hands. And that's exactly what's going on right now. And for the people that's looking from the outside in, I could understand why it might seem like chaos and, you know, irrational thinking and whatnot, but at least try and understand how we're feeling. To constantly to be killed and purposely be picked on for no reason and without reason, and not just that, right? But to add to all that, when these cases do happen and this stuff does get extreme and things happen and come out of it, there's no justice that's served to anybody. So what's really going on? I want to address certain people, right? Not anyone specifically, but there's people that's trying to basically protest against our protests. What does that mean? People trying to say, oh, black people is not the only one that's oppressed. Oh, what about this situation that's happening here? What about this situation that's happening here? What about this situation in Yemen? What about this? No. How about we focus on what's going on right here first, and then we can worry about everything that's going on in other places. And I'm not going to discredit or debunk any other cases or any other forms of injustice. I'm about justice in general. However, let's focus on the problems at hand right now that's right in front of us that we can deal with. Because once we fix the problem, once we attack the core of the problems, then we can focus about the bigger ones and the ones that's outside of here. We could sit here and try and compare struggles and talk about this, that. What about this situation? What about that situation? How about let's talk about what's going on right now? How about let's talk about what's been going on for a few years that's led up to this point? Everyone's tired of this. We're not with this no more. And I don't know how true this is, but people is talking about adult films and how he was involved in adult films and trying to meme it. But that has nothing to do with what happened. He was wrongfully killed. If you're wrongfully killed or murdered, if your life is taken by another human being for no reason and no justice is served, that's a problem. And that's what we need to address. Now, in the Declaration of Independence, it states, and I quote, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed with the Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." And in the Declaration of Independence itself, it speaks about how if the government is unjust or if there's any flaws with it, the people have the right to abolish it and reform it and fix it. I'm wrong? And we have people, right? We have people that want to always bring this up, black on black crime. I hate that argument. And let me tell you why. Because we're not going to get controversial today, but how can we talk about black on black crime without first speaking about how the system itself is set up for black people and other minorities to fail? So how do you expect them amongst themselves to function the right way? But that's a topic for another day. Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, Colin Kaepernick, Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd. Those are just a few to name, but there's so many cases in which this is happening. It's not just one situation. It's not just one situation. It's been happening so many times. And eventually, people's gonna start fighting back. And that's what they're doing now. And I'm not saying it needs to come to this, but it had to so people could wake up and people could realize, nah, this is serious. It's not no joke. I've addressed other struggles. I've talked about other struggles. I understand other struggles, but let's talk about the stuff that's at hand. Let's talk about the stuff that's been going on for years. Even before civil rights. Let's talk about all that and let's bring it down because we're at this point right now. Let's talk about it now. If stuff keeps happening like this, it's not going to be all cool and fine and dandy. People's going to start rebelling. People's going to start retaliating, and that's already what's happening. And if this stuff, if this injustice keeps going on, it's going to keep happening like this. It's just going to get worse from here. So all I ask is that everyone come to an understanding and start talking about the real topics at hand and start serving some justice. Because like I said before, if it don't start coming together and things don't start reforming, people's going to continue to keep taking things into their own hands. It's gonna get worse and worse and worse. And everything that we've worked for up until this point is gonna be for nothing. Remember that. Recently, I created a new Instagram, and basically it's about daily content and positive messages. So if you're interested, go look at it, go follow, go like it, whatever you gotta do, just go check it out. Love you guys. Appreciate everyone that watches my videos and supports me. See you guys later.